Hi everyone, myself Dr. P. Ashok Babu, working as professor and head EC department. So in this video, I'm going to discuss about the capacitance and types of capacitance. So here, before defining the capacitance, here we will define the resistance. So here, what is the resistance? A resistance can be defined as, in general notation, it can be defined as resistance is a ratio of voltage to the current. Actually, according to Ohm's law, we have V is directly proportional to I, and V is equal to, we have Ri, and the resistance R is equal to V by I, where R is some constant which is known as a resistance. So R can be defined as R is equal to V by I. Whereas coming to the EMTL, we can define the voltage and currents as, so where voltage is nothing but potential. A potential can be defined as V is equal to, we have integral E into dl. And we can define the current as the current density. Current is equal to is the integral of current density J into ds. But current density J is nothing but, according to point form of Ohm's law, we can define the current density J is equal to, it is R equal to integral E into dl by integral surface integral. In place of J, here I am substituting sigma E into ds. So it is a formula to find the resistance of a particular circuit diagram. So here the resistance can be found by using the following steps. So here, when we are finding the resistance, here we need to follow the following steps. First one, we need to choose a suitable coordinate system. So here we can choose a rectangular coordinate system, cylindrical coordinate system, or spherical coordinate system. So here assume that V0 is the potential difference between the conductor terminals. Let us assume there are two conductors. So between the two conductors, we can assume a potential difference between the two conductors and solve the Laplace equation. We know the Laplace equation. So using the Laplace equation, we need to solve the potential value. So here, when we are solving the potential value, after solving the potential value, so we need to find out the electric field intensity. So here, electric field intensity E is equal to E equal to minus del V. The relation between electric field intensity and potential V is equal to E equal to minus del V. So using the formula, we need to find out the electric field intensity, then find the current, and then substitute into voltage. So from these voltage and current, we can find out the resistance value. Resistance R is equal to it is integral EDL by it is surface integral sigma E into ds, where sigma is the conductance of a particular circuit diagram. So in this way, we can find out the resistance for any device or any circuit diagram. Now we'll discuss about the capacitance. So here, consider the two conductor capacitor. The conductors are maintained at a potential difference V between the two conductors. Let us assume the two conductors are the first conductor, it is a second conductor, and assume the first conductor has a positive charge and second conductor is having the negative charge. And between the, because of application of some voltage, some current flow through the circuit diagram. So whenever some current flow through the circuit diagram, it will induce some voltage, and here we can find out the potential difference between the two conductors. So here the potential difference between the two conductors is, that is V is equal to V1 minus V2, where V1 is the potential of conductor 1 and V2 is the potential of conductor 2. So here we know the formula according to the potential, we can define the voltage V is equal to minus integral 2 to 1, it is E into dl, where 2 is the second conductor, 1 is the first conductor. So by using this formula, we can find out the voltage difference between the two conductors. So where E is the electric field existing between the conductors. So here we can define the capacitance C of the capacitor as the ratio of a magnitude of the charge on one of the plates to the potential difference between them. So here I am repeating the definition once again. So we can define the capacitance C of the capacitor as the ratio of magnitude of the charge on one of the plates to the potential difference between them. Therefore, C is equal to, we can write the magnitude of the charge by potential difference between the two plates. So here the charge can be using the Gauss law. Here we can define the charges using the Gauss law. The charge enclosed in any closed surface Q is equal to the flux in the closed surface. So here the flux is equal to Q is equal to, the flux is integral D into ds. Integral D into ds, R, which is equal to flux psi. Using the Gauss law, we have the formula. In any closed surface, the charge enclosed in the closed surface Q is equal to flux in a closed surface. But flux is equal to integral, surface integral d into ds. So using this formula, we can find out the charge. Therefore, the capacitance C is equal to charge has integral d into ds by, in place of potential, here we can write the E into dl. But d is equal to, we have epsilon E. So it is epsilon E into ds by integral E into dl. So by using this formula, we can find out the capacitance of a particular circuit diagram. So here there are three types of capacitors. So the three types of capacitors are, first one is a parallel plate capacitor, coaxial capacitor, spherical capacitor. So here we will discuss the three capacitors one by one. First one is a parallel plate capacitor. Parallel plate capacitor, if you assume a parallel plate capacitor, so here there are two plates. Let us assume one is having the positive charge, another one is having the negative charge, and the distance between the two plates is d. So like that, assume the two parallel plates, and these two plates are along the x-axis. Let us assume the two plates are along the x-axis, and each plate is having the area S, and the distance or the distance between the two plates is filled with some dielectric media or dielectric epsilon. So let us like that assume the two parallel plates. So here from figure, if you observe the figure B, so here the fringing effect due to parallel plate capacitor. So here when we apply some voltage to the parallel plate capacitor, so here we can observe the flow of charge, flow of flux in the flux between the two plates. So at edges we have some flux is there. So at edges the flux is flowing from one plate to other plate. So here if you assume the ideal case, so this effect is known as the fringing effect. So here if you assume the ideal effect, here we can ignore the fringing effect at the edges of a parallel plate capacitor. So whenever we assume a practical capacitor, for practical capacitor, at the edges of a capacitor we have some flux flowing between the plates of a capacitor and at the edges of a capacitor. If you assume ideal capacitor, so here we can ignore the fringing effect of a parallel plate capacitor. So here consider the parallel plate capacitor. Suppose that each of the plate has an area S and they are separated by a distance d. So assume that 1 and 2 respectively carry charges of plus q and minus q uniformly distributed on them. So here the first conductor is having the positive charge and second conductor is having the negative charge. Therefore here we can define the surface charge density. The charge density is equal to the charge by surface area of a plate. The surface charge density can be defined as the surface charge density rho s is equal to charge per surface area, where charge is a q is a charge per surface area is a s is a surface area. So therefore an ideal parallel plate capacitor is one. An ideal parallel plate capacitor is one in which the plate separation d is very small compared to the dimensions of the plate. Assuming such an ideal case, then we can ignore the fringing effect at the edges of a parallel plate capacitor. Then if the space, and let us assume if the space between the plates is filled with a homogeneous dielectric media with permittivity epsilon, and if we ignore the flux fringing at the edges of the parallel plates, then we can define the flux density, electric flux density d is equal to minus rho s into ax. D is equal to, because according to the Gauss law, the flux is equal to the charge density. The flux equal charge density d is equal to here minus rho s into ax, where minus rho s is the surface charge density. So here why it is negative means here the charge is flowing from negative to positive. Because the charge is flowing from negative to positive, so here we need to assume the flux density d is equal to minus rho s into ax. And from this we can find out the electric field intensity. You know that d is equal to epsilon e. Therefore, electric field intensity E is equal to rho s by epsilon into minus ax, where ax is a unit vector along x direction. And here we know that rho s, the charge density rho s equal to q by s. Therefore, we need to substitute q by s in place of rho s. Therefore, the electric field intensity E is equal to minus q by epsilon s into ax, minus q by epsilon s into ax. Now we need to find out the potential. So here we can find out the potential by using the formula V is equal to minus integral 2 to 1 into E into dl, which is equal to minus integral 0 to d, where the separation between the two plates is d. Therefore, the limits are from 0 to d, and E into dx into AX, where E is nothing but minus Q by epsilon S. So here if you integrate the equation, minus minus cancel each other, then Q by epsilon S is a constant one, Q by epsilon S is constant one, therefore Q by epsilon S into integral AX into dx, therefore it is Q by between the limit 0 to D, therefore Q by epsilon S into 1 or X between the limits D to 0, therefore it is Q by epsilon S into, it is D minus 0, therefore it is QD by epsilon S, So and thus we can define the capacitance of a parallel plate capacitor. Capacitance C is equal to, we have Q by V. Capacitance C is equal to, we have Q by V. So it is a V. Therefore Q by V is equal to, we have epsilon S by D. So this is a capacitance of a parallel plate capacitor. This is the capacitance of a parallel plate capacitor. So here by measuring the capacitance C of a parallel plate capacitor with the space between the plates filled with the dielectric and the capacitance C0 with air between the plates, we find the epsilon R. As epsilon R is a ratio of C to C0. Epsilon R can be defined as, it is a relative permittivity. The relative permittivity epsilon R equal to is the ratio of capacitance to the C0 capacitance C0, C by C0. So here we can find out the energy stored in a capacitor for parallel plate capacitor. So here the energy stored W is equal to half CV square. So which is nothing but QV by 2, or it is nothing but Q square by 2C. So here we know the formula. The energy stored in a parallel plate, the energy stored by any electric circuit is, it is half into, is a volume integral epsilon naught E square into dV, or it is half into a volume integral D into E into dV. But we know that D is equal to epsilon naught E. The formula is half into volume integral epsilon naught E square dV. So therefore the energy density, the energy stored by a capacitor equal to half into is a volume integral Q into, in place of E, where E is nothing but Q by epsilon S. So in place of E, I am substituting Q by epsilon S. Therefore Q square by epsilon square S square into dV. So here epsilon cancel each other, Then if we integrate the equation, it is epsilon Q square by or epsilon cancel each other. It is Q square by 2 epsilon into Q square by 2 epsilon into, here we have 1 by S square, because the volume of the capacitor is S into D, where S is the, actually it is, here I am writing, it is Q by epsilon S square into Q by 2 epsilon S square into, it is 1 into dV. So what is the volume of a parallel plate capacitor? So here the volume of a parallel plate capacitor is, so where S is the area of each plate, and D is the distance between the two plates. Therefore the area is equal to S into D. Therefore it is Q by 2 epsilon S square into S into D, where S is the surface area, D is the separation between the two plates. So SS cancel each other. Therefore we have finally we have is a Q square is there. It is Q square by, finally we have Q square by 2 into or 2 epsilon into D by S, or it is, we can express it as Q square by 2 into D into D by epsilon S. But we know the capacitance C is equal to epsilon S by D. Therefore we can express it as Q square by 2C. So which is nothing but half QV, which is energy stored by a parallel plate capacitor. So next we'll discuss about the coaxial capacitor. So a coaxial capacitor is nothing but it is just like a coaxial cable which is having the two conductors, inner conductor and outer conductor. So let us assume the inner conductor is having the radius A and which is having the positive charge, and assume the outer conductor is having the radius B and having the negative charge, and assume the length of coaxial cable is L. Length L. let the space between the conductors be filled with a homogeneous dielectric with permittivity epsilon. Assume that conductor 1 and 2 respectively carry plus Q and minus Q uniformly distributed on them. So here by applying Gauss law to an arbitrary Gaussian cylindrical surface, so whose radius is rho, where rho is the limits of rho are a less than rho less than b. So it means, so here between the two conductors, here we need to construct a Gaussian surface. To apply a Gauss law, we need to construct a Gaussian circle or Gaussian surface. First, we need to check that whether there is uniform charge distribution is there or not. So when uniform charge distribution is there, then we need to construct a Gaussian circle. So here the radius of Gaussian circle is, let us assume it is rho, where a less than rho less than b. So the radius of Gaussian circle is between the inner conductor and outer conductor, which is above the inner conductor and below the inner conductor. Therefore, it is the limits of the Gaussian surface is a less than rho less than b. Then if you apply Gauss law to the Gaussian surface, so according to Gauss law, the charge enclosed equal to the charge in a closed surface Q is equal to flux enclosed in the circuit diagram, where flux enclosed is Q is equal to integral d into ds, where d is nothing but epsilon into e. Therefore, Q is equal to epsilon into integral e into ds, integral e into ds. Therefore, Q is equal to epsilon e into 1 into ds. So the surface area of the Gaussian surfaces are cylindrical surfaces. The surface area of a cylindrical surface is 2 pi RL, where R is the radius of a Gaussian circle. Therefore, the surface area of a cylindrical surfaces, cylindrical surfaces, it is 2 pi rho L, 2 pi rho L. Therefore, epsilon E into 2 pi rho L, epsilon E into 2 pi rho L, which is nothing but the charge Q. So from this we can find out the electric field intensity. Therefore, electric field intensity E is equal to Q by 2 pi epsilon rho L into A rho, where A rho is the unit vector along the Gaussian surface or rho direction. So here, neglecting the fringing effect at the edges of a cylindrical surface or cylindrical circle, then we can define the potential. Potential V is equal to minus integral 2 to 1 E into dl, where the limits of the Gaussian surface are between B to A. Therefore, minus integral B to A Q by 2 pi epsilon rho L into A rho into D rho into A rho. So here, if we integrate this equation, so here we have Q by 2 pi epsilon L is constant, can keep outside, minus Q by, it is integral B to A 1 by L into 1 by rho into D rho, 1 by rho into D rho. So here it is 1 by rho into D rho is my negative cancel, you can cancel the negative. So it is log rho, and the log rho here negative is there. Therefore, it is minus Q by 2 pi epsilon L into log rho between the limits A to B. So therefore, it is log A minus log B, So here, if you remove the negative sign, here we can write Q by 2 pi epsilon L into log B minus log A, Therefore, it is Q by 2 pi epsilon L into log B by A, So log B by A. So which is the potential of a potential difference of a coaxial capacitor. So by using this, we can find out the capacitance C of a coaxial capacitor. Capacitance C is equal to, we have Q by V. Therefore, it is 2 pi epsilon L by 2 pi epsilon L by log B by A. Is the capacitance of a coaxial capacitor. Next one, spherical capacitor. Third application is spherical capacitor. So a spherical capacitor is a case of two concentric spherical conductors. So let us consider the inner sphere of radius A and outer sphere of radius B, and these two conductors are separated by a homogeneous dielectric media with permittivity epsilon as shown in figure. And assume that the charges plus Q and minus Q on inner conductor and outer conductor. And inner conductor is having the plus positive charge, and outer conductor is having the negative charge. And so apply here, we need to apply Gauss law to find the potential. So to apply Gauss law, here construct a Gaussian circle. Construct a Gaussian circle with radius rho. So here apply Gauss law to an arbitrary Gaussian spherical surface of radius A, of radius R. Here I am assuming radius R. Radius of a Gaussian circle is R. Therefore, the radius R is between A and B. The radius R is the radius of Gaussian circle is between the radius of inner conductor and outer conductor. So here, if you apply Gaussian surface, Gauss law, if you apply Gauss law to the Gaussian surface, the charge enclosed Q is equal to, it is epsilon into the charge Q is equal to, the charge enclosed Q is equal to, it is d into ds, where d is epsilon e. Therefore, Q is equal to surface integral epsilon e into ds. Therefore, Q is equal to epsilon e into surface integral 1 into ds. The surface integral of a the surface area of a sphere is the surface area of a sphere is 4 pi r square. The surface area of a sphere is 4 pi r square. Therefore, Q is equal to, we can write epsilon into er into 4 pi r square. So from this we can find out the electric field intensity. The electric field intensity E is equal to Q by 4 pi epsilon r square into AR, where AR is the unit vector along the Gaussian circle. So here we can find out the potential difference between the two conductors by neglecting the fringing effect on the spherical on the spheres. Therefore, the potential V is equal to minus integral 2 to 1 E into dl, which is equal to minus integral B to A, because the limits of the Gaussian surface is from B to A. So in place of E, here I am substituting Q by 4 pi epsilon r square into AR into dr into AR. Here Q by 4 pi epsilon is a constant one, we can keep outside, and minus 1 by r square. Integral of 1 by r square is, so it is minus Q by 4 pi epsilon, constant keep outside, integral B to A 1 by r square into dr. So integral of 1 by r square is minus 1 by r. Therefore, it is Q by 4 pi epsilon into 1 by r between the limits a to b. Therefore, Q by 4 pi epsilon into, it is 1 by a minus 1 by b, which is nothing but the potential. But we know that the capacitance C is equal to Q by V. Capacitance C is equal to Q by V. Therefore, capacitance of a spherical capacitor C is equal to, it is 4 pi epsilon by 1 by A minus 1 by B, which is a capacitance of a coaxial spherical capacitor. And here by replacing the B tends to R, if you substitute B tends to infinity. If B tends to infinity, 1 by infinity equal to 0. Therefore, the capacitance of a spherical capacitance C is equal to, we have 4 pi epsilon A. If the second conductor tends to 0, or if the second conductor goes to infinity, the capacitance C is equal to 4 pi epsilon A. So, which is a capacitance of a spherical capacitor. Okay, thank you.
Like, share and subscribe. Hit the bell icon for more updates.